Hi, it's Sue from Aging Joyfully. Steve does have to work today, so I'm making this video by myself on the effects on tariffs, the effects of tariffs and how it has changed our lives. If this is the first time you've seen us, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe and hit the notification button. Generally, we have one video a week on Saturdays. We have so many previous ones. We did a lot of shorts with our dogs, and we have a few long ones with our dogs, but we cover all aging issues, which are many issues that affect the everyday person. It can affect anybody, as we all are struggling together in this economy with rents, mortgages, daycare. It's affecting every generation. You think daycare doesn't affect us? Well, maybe grandmothers have to help watch the grandchild because people can't afford the daycare cost, or we are going to be indirectly impacted by overcrowded classrooms with kids getting maybe a little bit more unmanageable as classrooms are growing and children might be getting less attention. So it does all indirectly affect us. No matter what your age, all these issues impact all of us. We are all in this together. We are all Americans. I love my t-shirt. It says, just because somebody carries it well doesn't mean it isn't heavy. That's saying that we all have burdens in this life. We all have struggles. I can't tell you anybody who isn't struggling. I am a very sensitive, intuitive person, and I can tell when I'm around people's sadness or struggles. There's so many issues going on today in our country, from, like I said, high rents. Many people are turning to their cars to live in their cars, or they are being evicted, becoming homeless, whatever. The situation does seem to be sad, and it affects us all. Thankfully, we are not homeless. We do have a home, and we are grateful for that every day. But as I watch the videos of homeless people, they say it is just one thing that could happen that can make any of us homeless, especially medical emergencies or illnesses can wipe out anybody's total savings as medical costs have gotten out of control. But today I'm talking about tariffs and how it has affected us. We are still in the early phases of tariffs, and even though they have been reversed, they still had an impact. It is a lot of planning to get items from China. It is a long time frame. And so even though they've been reversed, we're going to have empty shelves because it takes a while to plan. We were in Walmart the other day, and I just happened to notice, I wasn't looking for it, but as we were shopping, I did notice, because I think my daughter said to me, everywhere she goes grocery shopping, there are gaps. And I just thought I would look. So here I took some pictures. These are some of the gaps. Typically do the grocery shopping. Steve personally loves to grocery shop. He loves eating, he loves food, he loves to touch every fruit and vegetable that we bring into our house. So he does the bulk of it, but I was with him and I noticed, and I don't think these were typical. So you look and you see in all these different aisles. I didn't go through the entire store. I just happened to notice in some of the food aisles all these gaps on the shelves, and I thought this has got to be related to tariffs. And since I did take these pictures, Walmart has said that their prices will be increasing. And then, of course, everybody said if Walmart increases, all grocery stores will be increasing. And even if the costs come down, as we saw in the pandemic, these prices won't come down. The corporations will just make more money, is what I've heard from other videos. So, how has this impacted us? Well, some of the items we wanted to buy were out. Now, Walmart I don't, we were looking to stock up on our water for our CPAP. This is distilled water. Now at Walmart, we don't personally like their jugs because we have had an issue where they're so thin that they have burst open, or you can't keep them for long periods of time. There's no point in stocking up if they're going to leak or be destroyed. So I did just buy 1 gallon of distilled water from the baby section. It was like $1.26. In the old days when I used to stock up on many gallons, it was $1, not that long ago. But we typically go to Target to buy our water because the gallons are more solid and they seem like they're more durable and wouldn't leak or become destroyed. We went to Target and they were totally out of water. There was no water. We could not stock up on our water, which we still hope to do because we are still nervous about supplies becoming in short, the shelves being empty. Now, a few months ago, we did stock up on toilet paper, paper towels. I'll show you that. We bought quite a few of these quite a while ago. They should last maybe a year. We don't know how long to stock up for. That's the thing. We don't know. It's up and down. We've been following our retirement. It's up, down, up, down. We hope to retire one day. We don't have pensions. With the fluctuation in the market, it does make it very challenging to plan. If you retire when it's down, you could get stuck where you have to go back to a lower paying job, or both of us go back to a job. Currently, I am not working. By both of us have decided, because Steve's schedule is so erratic, it is challenging for me to work a regular, I'm not sure what I would do. Typically I was working in the schools last, so it'd probably be Monday to Friday, 7:30 to 3:30, something like that. And he works till midnight, so it is very challenging because it's very hard to get good sleep, and if you don't get good sleep, you get sick. We both have sleep apnea, so sleep is at the top of our priorities. We already have sleep issues. We sleep through the night now with our CPAPs and we do pretty well, but that is our top priority. If you start losing sleep, you start getting ill. You could also get anxiety, depression, blood clots, so many number of things, diabetes, weight gain. Sleep is tied to everything. Weak bones, heart disease, strokes. I mean, not getting proper sleep is just critical. So we put a priority on sleep, and that means that I am not working because of Steve's erratic schedule. However, because I am not out there working for money, I do many of the things around the house. And I do the bulk of the work. That's paying the bills, planning our retirement, cutting the grass, mopping, sweeping, taking care of our 2 dogs, walking the dogs, brushing the dogs, feeding the dogs, making the shopping list for what we need. So Steve really appreciates that. Well, I appreciate him going out and working every day. He appreciates the things I do at home. I know in our society, our culture does not appreciate women at home. I know that a lot of people say women should be at home, but yet we get very little respect or appreciation for those things that are just magically done when you get home at night. The towels washed, the floor mopped, the dogs brushed and walked, the dog poop picked up in the backyard, and the lawn cut. We come home and we just think, wow, Steve does thank me all the time for everything, as I thank him too. So in our marriage, we've been married 34 years now. This is a great arrangement for the 2 of us. I know it doesn't work for everybody. And yes, I do miss working. I do miss getting out and doing a high-level job. When we first got married, I was an auditor and then a financial analyst, and later went back to school to become a teacher. So I've worked a number of different jobs as we have moved numerous times. So because we both grew up with Depression-era parents, we've always been pretty conservative with our spending and savings. We've never been totally outlandish. Steve is more of the spender than I. I am the saver. He is the spender. So I rein him in. We complement each other well because he encourages me to spend when I think I act like I'm living in a depression all the time. And he'll say, we have some money, we can do this. And I will rein him in when he goes a little overboard. So it's a good balance of both personalities that it keeps our marriage sane and our finances in check. So we've never been real extravagant in our spending. We're pretty conservative. So we of course, these changes are unique. What's happening now is unique. As we've said over and over again in our videos, the world has changed, or the United States has changed more rapidly in the last 5 years than in our entire marriage. So it is hard to know. We have no prior knowledge to know what to do. We don't have the knowledge to know what to do when the economy is going down without a, say, a reason, like the pandemic or the Great Recession happened because of giving loans to people who didn't qualify, so the housing market collapsed. So now we don't know what's going to happen. We can't predict without that prior knowledge. So it's hard to make decisions, but we are really not doing a whole lot, cutting back. We never have taken a lot of vacations. We don't even have a passport. We have gone to other countries that didn't require a passport 30 years ago, but now they all do, so we can't even go to Mexico or Canada without a passport. Things like clothing, we have plenty of clothing, so we're not buying on that. We were doing our Zen garden, which a real Zen garden has the minimal, maybe sand and few items. We did a Zen garden with a lot of flowers. We have given up the flowers this year as they are way too costly because they die. If you don't get perennials, they die. So this year we are not buying any flowers as they are costly, and if you don't water them or there's a drought, it's not raining, they do die. So we do drive our cars. They're going on 11 and, 8 years or so. They're getting up there, but we're maintaining them, and we have no intention of buying new cars. We bought Hondas because Hondas are very reliable and last quite a while. We didn't buy cars that may have a tendency to not be as reliable. Let's see, as to food, we do have a lot less food in our house. We always had a packed refrigerator and freezer. It is empty quite a bit. It's pretty bare these days. And I told Steve, who does the shopping, I said, it's bare. And even our pantry has more paper goods than food items. Although we have stocked up on we did change our diet. We wanted to get rid of processed foods, but we did stock up on oatmeal, which is processed, but it's supposedly the healthiest of the processed items. You can't stock up on perishables, like eggs and milk and cheese. Can't really stock up on those. So we stocked up on the things that we could, like oatmeal and paper products. We never started a garden. We do regret that. We wish we were able to have the skills and ability to have a garden. We both grew up in the city and not really into gardening. That's probably our biggest regret, as food is becoming outrageously priced, that we don't have a garden. We've controlled other things like not putting things on credit card that you can't afford. We would always, once you charge something on credit card, we always deducted it in our check register. Most young people today don't have a check register, but you may have a computer program where you could deduct it. We would deduct it, so when the bill came due, we had the money to pay for it. So interest rates on credit cards, people may not know, they're like 29-30%. If you charge on that, that's outrageous. Now I know medical bills, sometimes you do have to charge. I would try to work out a payment plan if you have medical bills. We have an HSA that we have been saving for retirement. Unfortunately, things are so expensive, we've almost wiped it out. This money we thought we would have in retirement for our healthcare costs, it's almost gone, and that has shocked us because we had put a good amount aside, and everything's gotten so outrageous in the healthcare costs. We've looked into going to different countries, but the cost of going there and back would make up the difference in the savings and the price. So we did not think that was very feasible. So what are we doing? What else are we doing? I mean, I'll tell you, it's tough. We bought a lot of dog food. We bought probably, maybe for Sammi, who's only 12 pounds, probably a year's supply of dog food. That's one big bag. For Sierra, who's 52 pounds, maybe, I don't really know, 2 months, 3 months. We bought ahead on the dog food, which is going up rapidly. We bought their toys and hopefully all of their other things that they need too. We try to think ahead, what will we need in the next, of course you can't buy things for the next 4 years or however long this is going to go on. We don't know. I mean, the Great Recession, even though technically lasted less than 2 years, in my mind, I believe it was closer to 10 years before things got back to normal. I mean, if you looked around before jobs really came back and people were back to spending, it started in, what was it, officially, I think 2008, although it was really before then, and I think it only lasted till 2009. But I feel like it was at least 2016 when things were really coming back. That's just my feeling. So the official record, if we do go into recession, which we are expected to, I mean, I don't know, everybody's debating that. They may say it's only 6 months or a year, but in reality, with job loss and things like that, it'll probably last for years. So it's hard to plan for what to do for years, especially when we're trying to retire. And house prices are sure to come down as job losses increase and there's less money in the economy. House prices have to come down, and then less people are able to afford your house, which house sales, I believe, have slowed down already with interest rates going up. So it is very hard to plan. It's very hard to know what to do to plan, and that's there's no rule book. I mean, for our parents, they had pensions and they retired at 65 with pension, Social Security, and their house had gone up quite a bit. So they were able to downsize. Now, Steve's mother didn't really have a pension. His father died when he was about, 57. So his mother pretty much lived in poverty after he died. So she didn't have a good retirement. She lived at 85. She actually went back to work at, I believe, I didn't know her then, so I don't know, but she went back to work at 45 or 50 and worked till she was 75. Maybe she might have been closer to 60 because his father died about 57, I believe. She might have been closer to mid-50s and worked until 75. Which is, I know today people are doing that and saying how awful it is, but I think how she worked till 75. And she probably had dementia at the time because when I met her, she was 70. And I never knew her, but she was having a little bit of cognitive issues then, but I didn't know her, so I thought it was normal. But definitely within a few years, I thought some of the things she did were odd. But again, I didn't have a basis because I never knew her. I didn't meet her till she was 70. And she had Steve very, very late in life. His brother right now is 81, the oldest brother. So that's kind of sad, but maybe that helped keep her alive till 85, that she was working till 75. Write in the comments below, how are the tariffs and the economy affecting you? I know, it's a very, very tough time. I could tell when I see people, I could see the struggles in their faces when you see them in stores and out in public. And also I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I know some of it may be exaggerated for views, but I know people are struggling. I know they are. There's no way you cannot with food going up. And I mean, I keep our house so hot. In Georgia, it's gotten very hot, but to keep our electric bill down, I keep the house warm. We try to conserve water. We don't water our lawn, which makes it look not as good as it could. We try to conserve everything. Gas, Steve drives a small car, so that gas is cheaper. We go to the cheapest gas stations. You can look online for the cheapest gas stations. And I don't go out a lot during the day that waste gas. I walk the dogs and do things around the house. And I save up all of our errands to run on Steve's day off. We'll run errands together and maybe eat out. And we eat out at affordable restaurants if we do. We don't go to extravagant places. A lot of times we go to Cracker Barrel, and with their new point system, we get a free meal. I don't know how often, every 3 or 4 months we get a free meal. So we've always been very conservative, but yes, it's still affecting us, especially healthcare costs, and those are expected to rapidly increase. And actually, it's gotten to the point where I've said, maybe I won't get blood work, maybe I won't get a mammogram. Even though the mammogram, the routine one, is typically covered, I've always usually been sent back for further testing, which they say is fine. So yeah, I've thought about cutting back on medical things, the blood work, the mammogram, that are supposedly free. But the blood work is never free. We just got a bill from our physical for my blood work, which was, mine was 100 and Steve's was like 200. His was double. I don't really know why. But yeah, we've come to the point where we thought, do we need to quit doing our physicals? And that's pretty sad that you think to save money. I mean, medical is one of our biggest costs besides the premiums. Going to the doctor, which we don't even go that much. I skipped my skin check for a year. So it was 2 years since I had my skin check, and I have had skin cancer. So she removed 2 spots on me and froze a spot on Steve. and it was almost $1,000 for those little tiny things. And I thought, you know, the spot she said she thought was cancer. I said, like 5 other doctors have said it's fine. And she said, well, it's gotten darker. This is the first time I've seen her. She said it's gotten darker. And I'm thinking, I didn't say it, but I'm thinking, how would you know? This is the first time you've ever seen me. It was always dark. And 5 other doctors said it was fine. Well, the biopsy proved it was fine too. And that was quite costly to get that removed. Plus a lot of pain. It hurt for a good month getting that removed. So it's sad that we have to think, what do we need to give up? You know, do you give up food? My father used to kid. He was always conservative, but he was comfortable with his pension and Social Security and conservative ways. But he used to say, do I have to choose between food and my medicines? And he only took like one medicine. And he used to say that, but we actually have had to choose when doctors have said I should go to physical therapy for a muscle pull or something. I've had to say I don't have the money to go. I don't have the money to go, because at the time when I went to physical therapy, I did get paid for my job because I was a substitute teacher in the school, so I wouldn't get paid. I did a lot of long-term subs, and so I had to say I can't go to physical therapy. So we actually do choose and always have chosen. But it is sad, as I saw recently, that we are, I believe, the lowest life expectancy of developed countries and always coming down. That's what I've seen from other channels. So I don't have any sources on that. I typically put the sources on here. I just read so much, see so much, and I can't quote the sources. But you could check that out yourself to see what our life expectancy is in America. So I hope this video wasn't too depressing. We're all in this together, and we're all struggling together. I want to know what you're doing. What can we do? I know there's one lady on YouTube, it's like Prepper Princess, who takes things to an extreme, and she is very, very frugal. She does a lot of things I would never do, but she manages her money well and has a successful channel from that. But you tell me, what changes have you made because of not only the tariffs, but the economy? So many people have lost their jobs, which trickle down to more job loss, which in the Atlanta area, a lot of CDC and IRS people have been laid off. And I don't know personally what it's done to our local economy, but I'm sure that it has hurt our local economy. And it's going to go statewide also with, you know, state taxes. Maybe eventually our tax rate will go up, or we'll have less services. I don't know. Will trickle down eventually. So tell me what you're doing. And I mean, I hate to be negative, but I think things are only getting worse. We're only in the beginning stage of this. So remember, although somebody carries it well, it could be heavy. We're all struggling. At the bottom of this that you can't see, it says, be kind, because everyone has their own struggles. Boomers, millennials, X, Y, Z, all of us. Let's not pit each other against each other and realize that we all have our unique struggles and support each other in any way we can. Again, give this video a like and subscribe and check out all of our other videos. Hopefully Steve will be back next time. I think he will be. And hey, comment what type of topics you would like to see us talk about. Until we see you again, take it easy.